This episode of Self-Interrupted is kindly sponsored by Eugenia Milliard, the author of Wild Childs. This whole season of Self-Interrupted has very kindly been sponsored as well by Eugenia and the book Wild Childs. Eugenia is an author, a model, a producer, and an agent. She has worked in the industry that I work in, and it's so refreshing to read a piece of media like a book that I can really relate to as someone that's been in the modeling industry. Because I will tell you what, there's one too many books, TV shows, and films of people trying to portray what the modeling industry is like, and I say no. No more. We need to have people that are writing from the experience of being in the modeling industry. And Eugenia is that person. Wild Childs by Eugenia Milian follows Iris, an ex-supermodel that now has a daughter Lou after taking a big break and quitting the modeling industry. But Iris, for some reasons you'll find out while reading, has to jump back into the modeling industry and go through all of the dark places that she once used to work in. So Wild Childs by Eugenia Milian is a great book to get lost in. It's a book that's definitely going to be turned into a film one day. And wouldn't you love to say that you read that book before it was turned into a film? I know I am excited to say that. Eugenia, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode and the season of Self-Interrupted. It truly means so much to me. You can purchase Wild Childs in the show notes below of this episode. Guys, it's literally the finale of the season and you're not crying. So what's happening? Who's going to start crying? Who's going to set us off? Because one of you need to start crying. Otherwise, I'm going to be pissed. All this effort, all this hard work, you're not crying over the finale of the podcast? Come on. Guys, I literally broke out in hives this week. And I find it funny that no one asked me. No one asked me how I was. And you were to know that I broke out in hives. You should have. Telepathic. Yeah, I broke out in hives. I know you're thinking, Kit, that's kind of cuckoo. Why are you breaking out in hives? I wish I knew. For some lore, I broke out in hives about 3 months ago out of the blue. I was like, okay, rash, yes. And then every day for 2 weeks, I had vicious hives all over my legs, on my eyelids. Oh, what do you guys know about permanent red eyeshadow on your eyelids? That's what hives were for me. And now, all of a sudden, hello hives, welcome back. I have hives everywhere now. No, ooh, wait, who said that? Not everywhere. Touch wood. Not everywhere. They're just on the legs and on the eyelids, right? And the eye bags, which is gorgeous. No, because I didn't have enough eye baggage. I didn't. So go ahead and put those hives underneath my eyes and just see how I feel. Depressed, right? Welcome back to Self-Interrupted with Kit Costello. Yes, I am Kit and I'm Costello, Kit Costello. And it's the finale of my podcast, Self-Interrupted with Kit Costello. It's the finale of the season, not the last episode ever. Well, who knows? I mean, I run this podcast. So frankly, I could end it here. Ooh, who said that? Me. Right. But today, we're not ending the podcast. Well, yeah, we're ending the season on an episode that I'm really about to sink my teeth into. No, because guys, you don't even understand. This episode is entitled, All of a Sudden, I Was Happy Being Single. Oh, happy's a bit of a stretch, and we'll get onto that in a second. But I thought that this would be the perfect episode to end this season on, because I feel like I've been banging on this season about, I want to be in a relationship. No one loves me. I've been dating. It's all been bad. And then, going to and from being like, oh, I'm so happy being single. Oh, I actually do want some attention. This is the first season where I've been dating. And if you've been following this podcast since season 1, you've been on the chronicle single journeys of me. And this season is the first time that I have been dating. So I thought it'd be nice to end this season while still being single, but kind of just talking about everything I've learned while dating, because now I'm on a bit of a hiatus. Ooh, yeah, we're not dating anymore this year, right? So if anyone's listening, sorry, it's not going to happen. I would love a free drink though. So I'm down. If it's a platonic vibe, let's go, of course. And listen, if it wasn't going to be a platonic vibe, if you're like, oh, it was going to be romantic, for now, let's make it platonic because I would love a free drink. Platonic in the sense that you buy me drinks, right? Love being bought stuff. Like, I'm sorry, no, I'm going to get into the catch for the week in a second, but let's just harp on it. I love people buying me things, specifically men. I love it when men buy me things. And it's not even like, it doesn't have to be romantic. I just love it when people pay for me. But then I love when I'm dating someone and they're paying for my stuff. Right. Anyway, so this episode we're talking about being single and being happy about it. But before we get into that, let's get into the catch of the week. Okay, right. A finale catch of the week, one to talk about. Right. So guys, yes. Okay, first of all, I do need to emphasize I'm on my workout shit. No, I am. I am working out every day until the end of this month. Yes, it's the 21st of October right now. So technically that's like what? Ooh, 9 days, 10 days. So watch your mouth, first of all, because maybe you're thinking, Kit, 9 days isn't that long. To me, it is. I am going to be working out every day. I'm trying to feel really hot and sexy at the moment. Sassy, some may say. I'm trying to feel hot and sassy. Do I feel hot and sexy? You know what? Hell yeah, I do. A little bit. I have a couple of videos on my phone of like motivational speakers on TikTok that are like, bitch, you better get up and you better feel sexy and you better feel hot. So I've been playing those in the morning so that I am inspired to like eat healthy, work out and feel good about myself. Because this past week has been a little bit of a, ooh, let's not talk about that. Right. So, top line of this catch for the week is in all caps, good food. Guys, I have been eating good. You don't even understand it. Last week on Saturday, some things happened and I was in London. I'll get onto those probably more in this episode, but things ended when I was dating someone. It was sad. And I was a little bit in my feelings and I was like, I need some good food. So what do I turn to? Ramen. All the time. Ramen and gyoza. And I just had a big bowl of that when I got home. And that's not the only good thing that I ate. Girls, I finally had my roast dinner. Yes, this season seems to be tying up perfectly because I feel like this whole season I've been banging on about wanting to get a roast. And I literally had to like scuttle into my parents' kitchen and be like, guys, what if we had a roast this weekend? Because I was feeling so sad. And bless my parents, they pulled out all the stops. We had cauliflower cheese, we had stuffing, we had mashed potatoes, we had roast potatoes, we had parsnips, carrot. Girl, they put on a show. And I had my vegan chicken. I was flying. And also for dessert, we had sticky toffee pudding. Sorry, I know this catch for the week's been a bit all over the place, but I just had to talk about the food that I've had because it's a bit special. Me being like, yes, I've been depressed. Also got broken up with. And I'm eating tons of really nice food. Right. This week has also been really special because my dad and my brothers have been working around the farm. One thing about those men is that they don't think before they do something. So they will drive somewhere in a vehicle and then swap vehicles for someone else to drive. And then the other person will be like, oh, damn, I came up here in a vehicle that now the other person's taken. So now I have no way of getting home. So now I have no way of getting home. So then who gets a call to pick up my dad from a random field on the farm? Kit Costello. But I do love it because I had my little earphones in. I was in the farm car driving through the farm. And guys, it was giving mystical. It was giving magical. It was giving Phoebe Bridgers in a certain sense. It was giving Gilmore Girls Fall because all the leaves were falling everywhere. I was listening to Sea Rose, End of the World, Used to Be Friends, Hold the Rain, Keep the Rain, sorry. And I was just feeling great about myself. I'm going to watch Sea Rose tonight by myself in London. Okay. Yeah. And that's fine. Of course I'm going by myself. I'm going to cry. I'm hoping that someone will like just kind of like take me under their wing so I can cry with them. Okay. I also, this week, it's just been a week of honestly comforting myself and letting myself have what I want. Guys, I treated myself so much this week. After I kind of went through some sad things, I was like, Kit, I'm going to give you this week and you can get whatever you want. I don't know why. I decided to treat myself. And you know what? I think you deserve that too. So if you were looking for an excuse to treat yourself, this is your sign. Guys, this is your hands out, Kittinators. Put your hand in mine, bitch. Breathing in, breathing out. And you better treat yourself this week. So this week I bought a new perfume. I bought a new body wash. And I bought a hair primer. I bought new pajamas. Guys, treat yourself to some new pajamas. I got pajamas from John Lewis and it's a 3-piece set. So I have a pajama striped shirt, pajama striped shorts and pajama striped trousers. Special, because I can swap the shorts and the trousers out when it's hot or when it's cold, or when I'm feeling shorts or when I'm feeling trousers. And they were a little bit expensive. They were priced at £70, and I don't want to hear it because I was down. Guys, I was crying quite a lot this past week, I'll be honest. And you know what? I think emotions are beautiful, and I'm very happy to be able to feel them and be vulnerable about them, because I want you to know that I come on here and I talk about crying and talk about my emotions, because I think that's a beautiful thing. And you should never be embarrassed about crying over someone or something in your life. So I was crying quite a lot, and I opened the pajamas yesterday evening, and I literally was jumping around my room because I thought I looked so cute. And they're not like sexy, they're not sassy, of course, because at first, oh, see, this is how my point of view is currently changing. I was like, I want to get some like sexy pajamas that I can wear for a man. And then I was on the John Lewis website and I said, ooh, what if I just got my little Paddington Bear give? What if I got up in those, you know? My little Paddington Bear, my little Sleepy Tea vibe. Because that's what I am, you know? Like, I am not sexy. Sorry, I'm not. Sometimes I try and get my little Tate McRae fantasy in the bathroom when I'm dancing to her music, and I'm like, yeah, I could give a little sexiness if I wanted to. And on my Instagram, I'm always going to try and give sex appeal, because sex sells, guys. I got to get those likes. However, when it comes to my personal life, it's always going to be Miss Paddington Bear with a sleepy tea on the side of her bed, right? Forever and always. Like, I am just not a sexy person, you know, and that's okay. And that's fine. And I'm quite happy about that. I don't care for being sexy. Don't you love that I record this in my house? Don't you love that my parents could literally be hearing me say, I don't think I'm a sexy person. I think I'm Miss Paddington Bear sitting on the end of her bed with a sleepy tea. That's what this life has turned to for me. Like, yes. I used to be so nervous about like recording stuff, like my YouTube in front of my parents. I used to I had a YouTube channel for like literally since I was 12, and I only told my parents about it when I finished it when I was like 21, right? That they just didn't know. And I was making money off of it. Love it. And then I started this podcast and I was like, damn, probably should tell them. So now they know about my movements. But I did tell my parents, like, don't listen to my podcast. And apparently, like, everyone else in my family does. Like, my uncle will come up to me and be like, oh, I love the new episode of the podcast. And it's me talking about like sex and boyfriends and kissing, and I'm like, oh, let's not talk about that, you know? But yeah, I got some new pajamas, and I really recommend all of you to just get some pajamas for you, not for like someone in your life that you want to feel sexy for. Of course, there's a time and there's a place, there always is. However, when it comes to you, I think it's important to treat yourself for you, not for feeling sexy for someone else. What else has been going on? Oh my God, guys, I went to the Village. Okay, so you guys know about the special Village that has the cinema, the Village Cinema in it. It's about 30 minutes away from me. I love that Village. Me and that Village, that's mi familia. I'm crossing my fingers for audio listeners. So I went to that Village because I was feeling so crap. I'm going to be honest. Like, I think it was maybe the Tuesday, I think it was the Wednesday. So it was last Wednesday, and I literally couldn't be in my house, because sometimes, you know, when your emotions are just so heightened that you need to go out and experience somewhere else, like you literally just cannot be home, otherwise you'll just stew with your thoughts. It's nice to just be somewhere, not to do anything, but just to walk around and be, you know, have a bit of company. I'm gonna be honest, like there was a time this week where I sat down with myself and I was like, oh, I haven't talked to anyone today at all. The only person I've talked to was my mum. And that's because she asked me a question. Like, I haven't gone out of my way to talk to anyone. And I think a lot of my life is me just like sitting in silence, not talking, which is why I love this podcast so much, because it does feel like I'm talking to someone. And I've been able to have this podcast since I was 20, and now I'm 23. And I just think I'm so lucky that I have you guys that I get to talk to every week. But enough about you. I think it's really selfish that you brought yourself up in that situation, because this is a me moment, right? And you made that a you moment. Anyway, Village. I was in the Village, and I went to a little coffee shop. I sat there and I had a hot chocolate and I journaled. I was literally just sitting there. I think I journaled for like 8 pages. She had some things to say. She did. Of course she did. I talked to my friend Emma over text, and I was listening to Sea Rose once again. Like, I was going through it. I was like, I need to listen to sad music while I'm out, because I probably won't allow myself to cry while I'm out. in front of people. So if I listen to the sad music now, I get through that like, oh, can't listen to sad music moment. Because I want to listen to sad music because it's the only music I fucking listen to. So wait a minute. Listen to the music. I sure did. I journaled. I was feeling really inspired, so I wrote down some ideas for my upcoming projects in my life. I then went to a bakery, and guys, I queened out. I treated myself once again, because famously this week I was treating myself, and I got a banana and dark chocolate cookie with salt on top. Oh my god! Oh my god! And I got a pan suisse, which I believe is like a pan au chocolat, but it has layers of custard in it. Ooh. And it did come to £8. Right. But it was worth every bite. Because then I sat outside of the cathedral. When the cookie's so good, you have to go and thank God. Exactly. I sat outside the cathedral in my village, and and it was a thick, I love a thick, fat cookie. Fat, just like gargantuan. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want your thin, floppy, chewing in the middle. I want thick, fuck off cookie that's just like a little bit, oh, could be raw. Could be raw. Little salmonella, who cares? Because that cookie, it's special. And then I did have my pan suisse. I had half of that pan suisse because that was, for me, outside that cathedral, I was feeling spiritual. I was indulged into my my cookie and my pan suisse, and I was sitting there and I was like, oh, so you are alone sitting outside of the cathedral eating pastries and cookie goods. And like, what else can you do? You know, in those moments, you can sit there and sop about and be like, oh, I'm sad. I'm by myself. Or you could be like, yeah, I'm by myself. Thank God. I'm listening to my music. I don't have to talk to anyone or entertain anyone. Hello. So that's what I did. And I was sitting there, I was listening to my music. And then I got up and I walked to the train station. I normally get picked up by my mum very kindly from that village. But this time I got the train back home and it was so like, okay, A24, teen in a movie core. You know, like I was so coming of age girl. Coming of age darling. I love the phrase darling. Oh, she's an Oscar darling. She's a Grammy darling. Like, oh, she's a KCCU darling, right? She's a darling. Like, I love that. Hi, darling. She's a coming of age darling diva. And she was on the train and I was listening to just a lot of music, a lot of Maisie Peters. I was listening to, oh God, what was that? Sea Rose, probably. Phoebe Bridges. Some of my friends' stuff. Emma Bradley, Sophia Alexa. The girls, you know, we had to pull out all the stops because I was on the train and then the train, it started raining. And I was just like, oh, it's meant to be. Like, this is where I'm meant to be right now. And yeah, I got the train home. And then I watched Great British Bake Off. I sure did. My pan suisse, ate them outside of cathedral. I went on a walk to my local village, hashtag tapping into nature, it says here. And I literally went there. I went there because I was like, oh, let's recreate my serve at the village where I went and had the cookie outside the cathedral. I was like, yeah, let me do that at my local village. I walked there. I go and I get an almond croissant and I sit down and I say, oh, baby, this is not the give. Oof. It's clear that this almond croissant was £2 and that cookie was like £6 because this almond croissant is, oh, it's not. Can we not talk about that? Like, it was so bad. It wasn't even flaky. It was just like dough. And I had that with a Diet Coke because I'd walked and I was like, oh, I'm not feeling like my classic black Americano. Like, wait, let me get a Diet Coke. And I just sat there and I was like, oh, wait, I'm going to read. And then I was like, I don't want to be here, to be honest. So I got food from the co-op and I went home. But then I made a gorgeous curry. I love packet and microwave rice, guys. I'm sorry. I have to talk about it on the podcast. I talked about it before and I'll talk about it again. Basmati packet and microwave rice. Rice, gets me together. And yes, I could make the rice, but probably not as good. Sorry. Love it. I love it. 2 minutes, it's ready. It smells like basmati rice in my kitchen. Okay, I had a gorgeous curry. Then I watched Interstellar. Guys, who was going to tell me that Interstellar is Kit Costello approved? Because Interstellar is one of those films that has always been on my watch list, but like, it just isn't the right time. And I thought, I kind of want to cry. Interstellar seems like a film I could cry to. Yeah, right. I did. I cried. If you haven't watched Interstellar, watch it. That film is absolutely gorgeous. Hans Zimmer did the score. I have been listening to that score while I'm on the train, while I'm walking. Like, yes. But yeah, I watched Interstellar. It was amazing. The next day I went to see my friend Hanifa. Shout out to Hanifa. And we went to a gorgeous little Japanese cafe which I've been trying to like diversify my cafe intake because famously my favorite cafe has started playing pop hits from the 2010s and it's disgusting. Not that I'm too good for pop music because I love pop music, but when I'm trying to give like Girl Next Door, I don't want to be hearing Ariana Grande screaming Break Free in my left eardrum from the speaker, you know? Like I just want to be hearing like Snoopy jazz music. Right. So I met Hanifa and we queened out in this Japanese cafe. I had hot soba noodles, which were very yummy. And I did have that with a hot chocolate. I don't want to talk about it. I was there before Hanifa and I was waiting for her. So I got a hot chocolate while I was waiting. And then the hot chocolate went cold while I was eating the soba noodles. And I was like, wait, this is a bit tectonic and I'm really enjoying this. So I will be back at that cafe. And I just went for a little walk afterwards. I was again giving coming of age girl, like going through hard times, trying to pick herself back up. I had a little cry in the park, which is just, you know, a bit classic of me at this point. I love crying. I do. I do. I love being in touch with my emotions. It's not something that I'm afraid of. It's not something that I'm scared of. I think it's quite a beautiful thing. And I'm very happy that I get to express that without feeling guilt. And I hope that you do too. But yeah, anyway, yesterday I picked myself back up because it was a Monday and I said, Kit, you got to get it together now. It's all fun and games. You had your roast on your Sunday. That was your last like big bang of like, you're treating yourself and you're just like not caring. Because sometimes I just have to kind of let myself go, let myself just like slob around for a bit just so that I can really work on myself to come back. Does that make sense? Well, I hope it makes sense. Damn. I feel like I didn't make it that complicated. I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny that I have to explain everything to you twice. Anyway, so there I was. Had the roast dinner. It was very yummy. Had a little glass of wine with it. Classic KC movements. Then Monday struck and it was time for me to go to the big Sainsbury's and do the meal prep. I bought all my meal prepping stuff. I bought some sleepy tea. I bought stuff for a banana bread because I decided that I am going to start baking banana bread at the beginning of the week and then I'm going to cut it up and I'm going to give myself a slice of banana bread every day. Isn't that special? I love cake. I love cake. Oh my God, there was a time when my brother, it was his birthday and his girlfriend had baked him a cake. So the cake that my mum bought, no one ate. Girl, I ate that cake in a week. I had a fat gargantuan slice of that cake, coffee and walnut. Oh no, coffee and salt caramel, I'll have you know. Just a gargantuan slice with clotted cream every evening with my sleepy tea. And I've never felt more like, ooh, gorgeous. Gorgeous. I've started to pick myself back up. Thank you so much for asking. I'm feeling better now. I have my horizontal stripes on my socks and my top are horizontal stripes. I hope that when you see horizontal stripes, you think of Kit Costello. I hope when you see stars, you think of Kit Costello. I hope when you see a transsexual with a microphone, you see Kit Costello. Right. I think we're done. Oh, actually, before we go, guys, I just want to thank you. I do. I want to thank you for such a gorgeous season. Frankly, I can't believe it's the end of this season. I feel as though this season has just become part of my life. It feels as though this season has been the longest season of the podcast, even though all the seasons are 20 episodes. The black and white theme is something that I'm happy I did, but I probably won't be doing again. It's, you know, just a moment. You know, I think black and white for this season actually made the most sense because I really was going through it. I wasn't depressed like I was in season 2 of this podcast, but season 5 has just been like, ooh, a really understanding season with a romance and balancing me and romance, understanding who I am with and without it, which I think is quite beautiful. And I'm really proud of this season. Like, I think doing it during the summer was something that was fun because I was like recording outside quite a lot, which I really enjoyed. Like, I really just let go of quite a lot and I allowed myself to really just be. I'm so picky a lot of the time with cameras and with, you know, microphones, with quality, and this season was no excuse, but I really think that this season I just let go and I was like, it will be what it will be. Like, people are just going to enjoy it. And frankly, it's been the most successful season. Like, we've been charting every single week in the UK on the Apple Podcast charts, which is crazy. Like, it's kind of what I wanted at the beginning of this season. And I'm so honored. Like, I love this podcast. It's so small. I know most of you by name. And I'm so happy that I just get to do this and that I get to go on my little break now. And who knows what is going to happen in my life on this break? I don't know. And I think it's really special to think like that because at the beginning of this season, I'm a completely different person to who I was like back in April this year. So I don't know, it's something really cool that I like to think about because I really do see this podcast as like chapters of my life because I plan to do it for a while. And the break that I'm going to take from this season to the next is going to be longer. And I'm letting you know that now. But obviously, I'll be everywhere. Like, I'm going to be on TikTok, I'm going to be on Instagram, and I'll probably still be like, talking to you guys in DMs and stuff. So you're not missing out on anything. But I will be back. And I'm very excited to be back. But I'm also excited to take a little break and live my life so that I have something to talk about when I come back. But now let's get into the topic of the week, which is why being single actually isn't that much of a bad thing after all. Thank you so much once again to Eugenia Milian, the author of Wild Childs, for sponsoring this week's episode and this season of Self-Interrupted. I really love Wild Childs. This book is something that is so special. As a model myself, I've learned so much by reading this book. And I really believe that anyone that wants to get into the fashion industry, anyone that wants to become a stylist, a photographer, a model themselves, this book is really helpful because it peels back the curtain on what a photo shoot can really be like, what go-sees and castings can really be like. It's the honest truth of what the modeling industry is, and I think that's what makes this book so special. It's something that I haven't really experienced before as a model myself, seeing something that's so raw and honest about the modeling industry through the eyes of someone, Iris, the character, who is a supermodel at the time, through the eyes of that person. And also, it's not glamorizing the modeling industry. There are parts that maybe you would recognize as glamorous, but then there's the behind the scenes and the reality of those glamorous moments. And that's what Eugenia does so well. It's the juxtaposition of the modeling industry. I'm so proud to always promote this book on the podcast, and I'm proud to have Eugenia in my life as a mentor, as someone that I can look up to, because it really means a lot that she's supporting me and this podcast. So thank you once again to Eugenia Milian, the author of Wild Childs, for sponsoring this week's episode and this season of the podcast. You can purchase Wild Childs in the show notes below of this episode. All of a sudden, I was happy being single. So happiness, right? Happy would be that's an interesting word to use because was I crying yesterday talking to my photo booth app on my laptop? Of course I was. I was crying. And have I been crying like every other day for the past week? Yes. But that's so me. That's my personality. It may have something to do with the fact that I was dating someone and it ended like a couple of weeks ago, but it's fine. It is fine. Much love to that person. Truly an angel. If you're here to hear me talk about you, it's not going to be anything bad because you're a great person. But I think in terms of this topic, I do need to say that I was dating someone and that now that has fallen through. The reason I really loved this episode topic and the idea of doing it is because this whole season for me has been almost like documentary of me dating people. And a lot of the time when I was dating people this season, I wasn't talking about it until it was over. Exhibit A, me talking about the guy I was recently dating. Now it's over. I think it's really interesting having a podcast and dating because I never want to disrespect people that I'm dating. And I also don't want to not talk about it because it's such a big part of my life and this is a lifestyle podcast. So I think this whole season has kind of been me understanding the balance. And I think I've done it kind of well. I haven't really been too... I do say I haven't been too mean. Then again, a couple episodes, I was telling someone to burn in hell with their cat because they ghosted me. So, there swings and roundabouts. But then again, it's more so when someone really disrespects me, like ghosting, I will just come at your neck. But it's not personal because I'm not exposing you. I'm not doxing you. You can't be mad at me. Right. This season's been about relationships and I've been talking about them here and there. And I think it started off with, I'd been on one date at the beginning of this season. It was my first date ever. And to think now I've dated a few people, it's kind of crazy because this time last year, I hadn't even kissed anyone. guys, like she was just a good holy Christian girl. Like she wasn't kissing, she was just praying. I'm kidding. But I really just hadn't really done anything. And I think this season of my life, and therefore this season of the podcast, has been me just kind of like understanding myself in a relationship, and not in a relationship, but also just dating. Me understanding myself while dating. And honestly, since I think the first date I went on this year was in April. Since April up until now, I've just felt like I've been like holding on to like a breath while dating, because once I caught the bug for it, it was like this validation from men is it's toxic. And it's not toxic in the way it's like, oh my God, that's such toxic behavior. It's like, it feels toxic, like in the air, because it's all I want and it's all I desire. Once I started understanding that me searching for validation was like a drug for me, I couldn't stop. Even when I was during the season dating someone for like 3 months, I knew they weren't right for me. But while dating them, I was getting some kind of satisfaction because they were a man and they were giving me attention and they were calling me pretty and they were kissing me. So it felt like I should have just stayed with them. I go back to I'm single and I'm happy because I've learned so much while dating that now being single, I understand that I don't need someone that's not serving me to make me feel worthy. You know, when I was in that first like dating relationship with that guy for like 3 months, I put so much onto him. And something that I always tend to do in dating up until recently was like give my everything and want everything from that person as well. And by that I mean like there's this level of perfection that I have for myself when I'm dating, when I'm not even on the date, when I'm like just sitting at home, I'm thinking about how I can perfect myself for the next date and how I should do my hair for the next date, what I should wear for the next date, how I'm going to smell for the next date. I've really just become this person that's like all encompassed with the idea of dating. And when I was dating that first guy for those 3 months, it was so suffocating because I think halfway through, like he didn't care about me, to be honest. And I think I always knew that. Frankly, I always knew that I wasn't really attracted to him. Like, and it's, it's nothing towards him because he's an attractive guy, but I just wasn't attracted to him. And I think deep down I knew that, but I loved the validation that I got from him. And I think that's something that I'm not going to miss. While I'm being single, because for reference, I'm just not planning on dating anyone for like the rest of the year. While I'm being single, I'm not going to miss that kind of, the making excuses for someone. Because it's not just, someone's face that I find attractive. It's also the way they act. And the way this guy acted was just so not me, like not someone that I should be dating. But again, it's that kind of desperation that I had when I was around that person for them to want me. And it's funny, like I was reading back my journals from that time in my life and it was so sad. Like the journals were just like, he hasn't talked to me today. I've been waiting all day for him to message me and he just hasn't bothered to reach out to me. Maybe I'm not on the top of his list. Maybe I'm not someone that he wants. Maybe I'm not good enough for him. And it was all this self-deprecating talk. And I think dating this year has taught me so much. And I think dating does teach you a lot about yourself. And it holds a mirror up to you. Again, up until recently, when I've been dating, it has been this idea of like perfection, but not even for that person, for me. I think dating as a trans woman, there's so much laced in it that's about like gender dysphoria and the idea of being seen as a woman. Gender dysphoria, for those that don't know, is the feeling of seeing parts of the sex that you were born as now and having a bit of dysphoria about that uncomfortability. And why I love doing this podcast is because I know that there's trans girls and trans women and trans people that listen to it. And I think this is a very nuanced thing to talk about. Moments before walking out the door, about to go on a date, you look in the mirror and you're like, damn, I look like a man today. That's not a very nice thing. When you're on a date and you're thinking, oh, my voice sounds particularly low. Like, should I heighten it for the sake of, safety? And being at pubs with people that I'm dating, it was this whole thing of like, I need to look as feminine as I possibly can to be perfect, this perfect woman, so that when I'm at pubs, like I don't attract the wrong kind of attention. And it's that's ruminating in my head constantly. And this year, I kind of just went from like guy to guy to guy. There wasn't a time where I wasn't talking to someone. And I think that's actually really quite unhealthy. I didn't have a break. As soon as I'd finished talking to the guy I was dating for 3 months, I was already talking to someone that I had dated previously. And then after that finished, I think I took like a week off and then I was kissing someone else. You know, it was just like this constant flow of people that were in my life. And I never got to stand still and be like, bitch, are you okay? Because you don't look healthy. You don't look well. The reason I didn't look well is because I was so caught up in my appearance and wanting to be perfect for all these people and these men that I was trying to impress and please, that I wasn't even looking after myself for me. I was looking after myself before I'd go on a date, or the week before I go on a date, I would like intensively think about how I looked to like an unhealthy amount that I probably caused these hives that I'm getting on my body now. If we're going to be honest, you know, like I was stressing myself out so much about how people would perceive me that I didn't even allow myself to just sit and think about me. And something that I kind of asked myself after things didn't work out recently with someone I was dating was, why do I actually want a relationship? What parts of a relationship do I actually want to have? And what it all boiled down to was that I just want to share experiences with people. I want to share experiences in a way that I haven't been able to share them with my friends, with someone romantically. Like, I want to take someone around the farm. I want people to meet my family. I want to have roast dinners with people. I want to take them to special spots that I love, that have made me feel comfort. I want people to experience those things with me. But the truth is, those things are special to you because of you. I had to kind of sit with myself and tell myself that I don't need a relationship to share those moments with that person. I can share them with myself. I can do them over and over again because they're for me. And I think it's kind of blasphemous. I don't know if blasphemous is the right word, but it's kind of blasphemous to myself to think that someone else, specifically a man that I'm dating, is going to add anything more than what I can add to those special experiences that I love. For example, going to that village cinema that I'm obsessed with. Why do I think that I need to be in a relationship so that that is heightened for me? It might be a good experience, but it could be a really crap one. We could have an argument before we go in the cinema, and then that cinema is ruined for me. And that's me being pessimistic about it, but it's also me being realistic, because me being optimistic about everything in a relationship is why I end up in a space where I'm running, constantly trying to find someone to date. Sometimes it's okay to take a step back and be like, actually, I'm running after an idea or something. I'm not running after the realness. I'm running after the optimistic idea of what a relationship is, not the mature, thought out idea of what a relationship is. It's me running after this idea of a perfect relationship, which is why I'm the one that's running myself into the ground trying to be perfect for these men that most of the time aren't showing up the way that I would want them to, but I just kind of allow it because it's what I want. A lot of the men that I was dating weren't the perfect man for me, but I would convince myself that they were, because I was like, well, Kit, you want a relationship, you want to share these things with this person. Maybe you can find signs as to why this person's perfect. God, please. Like, oh my God, he was on Bumble the same time I was. It's a sign. No, it wasn't, baby. There's millions of men on Bumble at the same time. It's not a sign. Okay, it's fine. And then I think what happened recently, if you don't know, I was ghosted, which was a bit of a special experience, to say the least. I'm kidding. It was awful. Actually, it wasn't awful. I was actually I dealt with it better than I thought I did. And I think I can tell that I've kind of been growing throughout the process of going through relationships and dating this past year, because when that person did ghost me, I didn't think any less of myself. I wasn't thinking that it's what I deserved, or that, I need to present more feminine, or I'm just not good enough. I don't have something that other girls have. It was, oh, okay, well, what a loser that guy is. And I think that's when I kind of realized that I've been maturing. I wasn't sitting at home wallowing about this guy, even though this guy in my head was actually like perfect for me. I didn't care because my thought of myself had heightened above this guy in a way, um, which I think is really important because there would have been a time where I would have just been wallowing constantly about him. Because trust me, I have the journal pages of me wallowing over people, you know, Jesus that I was dating, and it was just a whole mess. Like, I am not kidding. It's so bad. If I go on one date with someone, I will think about them for the rest of my life is kind of crazy, but like I still think about the guy that I dated at the beginning of this year and we haven't spoken. Like, I still think about him. And I think I'm just a feeler, and that's okay. A lot of the things that you go through romantically, you just have to live with. Like, some things you just can't change. If you are someone that thinks about someone a lot, allow yourself to think about that person a lot. What I've realized is, like, through dating this year, sometimes I really try and suppress my emotions, but if you're feeling something, you're feeling it for a reason. With the last person that I was dating, was really trying my best to just use my intuition. I didn't want to tell my friends about it because something that I really dislike about dating in this day and age, I guess, is how your dates become other people's stories in a way. And they wait for the updates and they wait for it to kind of not crumble, because of course your friends wouldn't want it to crumble. But I think when you start telling someone that you're dating someone, in their head, they already have a beginning and a middle and an end. And the end is that it's going to end. So when they're asking for updates, in a way, it's kind of like, oh, are you still dating that guy? Has it ended yet? And it's not to say that they want it to end, but in my head, I was like, I just don't want this to happen again. I don't want to be referencing someone with my friends in like 6 months' time because I dated them for like a few weeks. Like, I just don't want that to happen because it's bad enough that I have to think about them all the time. I don't want my friends bringing them up in conversations because the conversation has similarities to the person that I was dating once. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if that's a toxic thing that I'm thinking, because in a way it's me, you know, sheltering myself from that experience and sheltering those stories. But I think also for me, it was important this time to just experience it myself. And I will say, this last person I dated, it felt so like good, and I didn't feel so hectic, and it didn't feel foreign. Like, it just felt normal. It felt like part of me, which was amazing. I wasn't feeling this anxiousness that I felt previously, and maybe that's to do with the guy because he was great, but like I do think in a lot of ways it was to do with me as well. I think I've grown quite a lot, and what I did in that last relationship, person I was dating, it was trusting myself and my intuition. It was allowing the voices in my head to talk, but not to scream. Because especially if you're someone that like constantly is thinking about dating, I can guarantee that when you are dating someone, it's all you're thinking about. And I'm not saying that I wasn't thinking about the person I was dating last a lot, but it wasn't negative, you know? I was just thinking like, oh, I'm going to see him soon, and that's fun and that's exciting. But I wasn't thinking, oh my God, he's going to leave and he's going to find someone else and it's going to be... It was just like, no, we're not going to do that. But previously I've been sitting there and I've been rocking back and forth like, he's going to leave me and I'm going to be by myself and I'm going to always be alone. Like, no, you won't. If you're sitting at home and you're listening to this, if you're going to work, if you're at school and you're like, I'm never going to find anyone. Yes, you will. Stop being silly. And I know it sounds like, I don't know, I don't want to scold you, but I'm almost telling my past self, of course you're going to find someone. Of course you will. It's inevitable. You will find someone, and it sucks. It really sucks when it feels like it's not happening for you. I understand that. It will all happen at the right time, and I don't want to sound woo-woo, but it does. It literally happens when it's meant to happen. And I look back at like, even the guy I was dating in like April, I look back and I'm like, oh, I don't know if that would have been the best for me. I look at the other guy that I was dating after him and I think, Jesus, thank God that didn't work out. I look at the other guy and I'm like, thank God I didn't give any of my time to him. You know, it will happen when it's meant to happen, and it will be with the person that it's meant to be with. And when you're with that person, you're sitting with them, I want you to think like, oh, it did work out. Oh, it did. And whether that's in a month, in a week, in a year, in 2 years, whenever it is, you'll be able to sit down and be like, oh, it did work out. But for right now, I really am just trying my best to take a step back from this idea of perfection for other people and place this love that I was trying to put into people so desperately into myself. And it's so hard. Oh my God, I'm not going to sit here and be like, this is easy. Putting love into yourself, I find it so hard. I find myself like looking after myself and then thinking, oh my God, like he's going to see this. Shut up. Like you make me sick. Like, why can't you just do anything for yourself? And it's going to take me a minute. It's going to take me a minute to like really work on myself for me. And I'm trying my best to break down those barriers so that they stay broken, so that I don't build them up again. Because there's been times where I've been like looking on social media and I'm like, oh, I could message this person or I could post this selfie so that it gets his attention and that he likes the story. God, please, a like on a story? Is that what we're working for? You got to be serious with yourself. Truly, get up. A like on your story is not what you deserve. You deserve love for yourself. Stop putting it into these people that, yes, they may care about you in the future, but for right now, for me anyway, I'm trying my best to put all the love that I was willing to give to someone recently back into myself. And I don't know how that's going to look. I don't know how it is looking right now. Because I'll be honest, like I said, I'm finding it pretty hard. I'm finding it hard to just think about me and myself. I'm finding it hard to not dress up for someone else or think about how I'm going to see this person in the future and where we're both going to be. Am I going to be dating? Is he going to be dating? I'm just thinking about me. And yes, that's hard, but it's what I've got to do. Bitch, I've got to prioritize myself. No one else is. And that's the truth. No one else other than yourself is prioritizing you. So whether you're dating someone right now or you want to date someone, either way, I want you to prioritize yourself. I want you to put yourself first. And I want you to look good for you. I want you to feel good for you. I want you to feel your best. Feeling your best is what you deserve. Wake up each day and try your best to really just think, okay, what am I going to do that's going to make me feel happy? And those first few movements in a day really get you together. There are certain things that I know that if I drink, if I eat, I feel energized. I feel good about myself. There are certain things like even if simple as not going on my phone until 9 a.m. Watching something on the TV that's a little bit inspiring. Watching a YouTuber that I find inspiring. You know how to make yourself feel good. So why are you not making yourself feel good and trying to make someone else feel better? That person that you're trying to date, you're trying to impress them. But are you trying to impress yourself when they're not in front of you? And that's what I'm telling myself because I'm finding it hard. I've told myself that I'm not trying to date anyone until the end of the year, not even talk to anyone by the end of the year. But I'm not falling into old patterns, but damn, it's looking tempting. But I'm trying my best not to because it's what I deserve. I deserve to just like be by myself and understand. Like I saw somewhere recently that it was like, you're not uninspired, you just have a crush. And I was like, wait, that's so true. Sometimes having a crush is so all-encompassing that you forget about your personal endeavors, about your creative endeavors. You're sitting in your bed and you're thinking, why isn't he texting you back? When you should be thinking, why am I not doing my creative passion? My God. The amount of hours, guys, I'm not joking, the hours that I have put into my crushes and thinking about them. When maybe they were thinking about me, maybe they weren't. I'll never know. Hello? What are you going to do? Text them, call them up, be like, hey, were you thinking about me just now? I was thinking about you. No, because I'm not Carrie Bradshaw talking to Big. No shade to Carrie. It's never shade to Carrie. But sometimes you've got to realize that you have really just got to relax. You've got to take a step back and you've got to put that time and that effort into you and into your passions. And it's not for that person. It's not so that you look good in 8 months' time and you post on Instagram and now they're thinking, damn, I missed out. You're doing it for you. You're doing it for the younger version of yourself that wanted that wanted the things that you want right now. And you're capitalizing on the things that you have right now. And that's what I'm doing. Future steps, I'm really, this time off of the podcast, I'm really trying to elevate my career. I'm really trying to move out. I'm trying to break cycles that I've been stuck in for a while. Not because I've had crushes and I haven't been thinking about my personal endeavors, but just because I get a bit like lax about the things that I want or that I can have. I think we all have so much ambition and we also have so much potential, but sometimes we're not tapping into our full potential. I'm really going to try, and I am going to, not going to try, I'm going to be tapping into my full potential, and I do want you to do the same. because it's what we deserve. But that is really how I'm feeling right now about being single. And the reason I say that, like, all of a sudden I've woken up feeling happy is because for a long time I just haven't been happy being single. I have been craving understanding from men. I've been craving attention from men. I've been craving want from men, love from men, lust from men. And it just gets to a point where it gets boring. You've got to sit with yourself and be like, are you waking up for yourself or are you waking up for other people? And right now I'm waking up for myself, and I'm waking up and it's fine. I'm single and we've just got to live with it. Decentering man, centering yourself. For me, that's what I'm trying to do. Emphasis on trying. I'm not coming here saying that I'm decentering man and it's easy for me, because it's not. I'm finding it kind of hard, if I'm honest. But I'm trying my best to put all the time and the energy and the effort that I'd put into thinking and being with men into myself. And it's not to say that I hate men, because I don't. Some men I do, right? Specifically the guy that ghosted me. You know who you are. You and your cat are going to hell, famously. I'm kidding. But, you know, I'm like understanding my relationship with men. And right now it's not the best. So I am happy. I'm feeling good and I'm feeling inspired, and I'm happy to be ending this season on a positive note of, you know, a rebirth. And I think it's funny, this whole season I've kind of been chasing this idea of dating. I've been chasing this idea of a relationship and of desire of being wanted. And I think this season could have ended in a different way, where I was in a relationship, but that didn't happen. And in some ways, you know, it's the best thing, because it is the thing. It is what it is, and you got to take it how it is, and you got to see the positives in that. And that's what I'm doing right now. As much as I would have loved to have been in a relationship right now, it's not where it's meant to be, and I'm not where I'm meant to be for that relationship, and that's okay, because I'm building the relationship with myself and making myself hot and sexy for me. And I'm really happy that this season has ended this way, because I think it all just comes back down to me and understanding and loving myself, because that's what this podcast is. And if I'm dating someone, I'm going to be interrupting us, not self-interrupted, because maybe I've got to keep it self-interrupted, right? You see, I'm trying to end this season off with like a bow. I'm trying to like put it all back together. It's like, oh, I feel like an MCU hero, a KCCU hero. I'm like, all of the references from this season, the dating, the bad dates, all the things, we're tying them up in a bow. And I think this whole season, the overarching thing has just been like, sometimes it doesn't work out, but you've just got to find the positive in it, realistically. And that's where I am. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you've enjoyed this topic. I hope that you enjoy whatever stage of life that you're in romantically, whether you're single, whether you're talking to someone, dating someone, whether you are in a relationship. I hope that you are feeling your best. That's all I hope for you. And if not, find ways to feel your best. But I hope that you've also enjoyed this season. Now let's get into the final of the week and the recommendation of the week. The vinyl of the week this week is Who's the Clown by Audrey Herbert. I think this album is fantastic. This album